And slipped through beautifully.
Oh, now I'm gonna drop off for you guys.
Nice.
Perfect. Alright. Oh, okay.
Oh my.
I'm just.
That's good.
He's gonna read it. Oh,
See about the
what the hell is in there? Aguero! Let's go!
Oh,
Torres.
Ooh.
Excellent defending.
gotta get a highlight here. We gotta get a
That's
highlight.
pass of
Chip.
high quality. Can he finish?
Oh!
Rabona.
Okay. GG.
I went under his armpit.
That was sick. That's perfect. You fell to the ground and then
Hero
boom.
surprise.
Hey everyone, this is Lesky here, back in another FIFA 21 Pro Clubs player build for you guys today. And in this video, we have for you a Sergio Aguero center forward build, which was requested in the comments by a viewer. In Ultimate Team this year, Aguero received a few special cards. I believe one of them is a flashback card, and the other one is a lot higher rated card. It is an end of an era card, and that is because his time at Man City, he came out and said that he's not going to be signing for Man City and playing for Man City for another year, and he's already agreed terms with Barcelona on the transfer to Barcelona for next season, which is actually pretty cool. So when making this build, I kind of just looked at a little bit of his end of an era card, even though it's a 94 rated, so it's pretty high rated compared to our build, but also his 87 rated flashback card, which looks very good as well, just not nearly as high rated as his end of an era. But that was also a really good comparison to use when I built this build. So on this physical page for this Aguero build, as you guys can see, we're listed as 5'8", 174 pounds. Aguero has a unique body type this year on FIFA, and I'm pretty sure he's had a unique body type for a lot of the years on Ultimate Team. A lot of the really big players, the really popular players, have unique body types. Aguero has a pretty stocky body type. He has a low center of gravity and a really high balance stats as well when it comes to his cards because of that low center of gravity and stocky body type. So I wanted to make sure I got a similar body type for this Aguero build. So that's why we went for the higher weight of 174 to make him a little bit stocky. And then the height we went for is 5'8". So that's perfect because Aguero is actually listed as 5'8". So this will be it for this physical page. Just make sure you're at 5'8", 174 pounds. And now we can head over to the skill tree. So over here on this playstyle screen, on this bottom right-hand side, you can see that this is an 88 overall for me. It's not a crazy high overall, but don't get too worried about the overall. Overall is really pointless when it comes to how good a build actually is. The overall is pretty deceiving, so don't be too worried about that. And if y'all's overall is less than mine, it's probably just because y'all haven't played as many games as I have in pro clubs. So now onto the skill tree. As you guys see, I've listed as a center forward for this build, 5'8", 174 pounds, and right-footed. And on to physical page, we have all the way down to the last kangaroo on this left side. The jumping focus is what it's called, and that'll get us pretty decent jumping, 290, and it'll get our strength up to 76. Like I said, Aguero has a pretty stocky body type, and along with that, he actually has pretty high strength on a lot of his cards. If it's in the 70s or actually 80s, like his end of an era card, his high rated card actually has 86 strength, which is something we're not gonna be able to get. We got it up to 76. And looking at his flashback card though, it's not nearly as strong. He has a lot less physical stats. He has 73 strength, so we're kind of in between there with 76 strength. And then also on his end of an era card, he has 90 jumping, so we're matching that perfectly with the 90 jumping. And I actually did get a couple header goals, I do believe, or at least one header goal with this build. It was actually really good too, and you could actually see how good the jumping was. So now onto this right side, we went all the way down to the second wind like I do in all my builds, but if you do play any, I would suggest taking off the second wind. You're not going to need it. I would actually definitely just put this strength and get you up to 79 strength, almost 80, but that looks really good. 90 jumping, 79 strength for a pretty small build. You can actually bounce off of people and body people pretty well because of that little stocky body type you have. So if you are an innie, I would suggest taking off that second wind and adding it to the strength advanced focus. But we're going to have the second wind on, and now we can move on to dribbling. So over here on the drilling page, the stats are actually really good for this Aguero build. And like I said, he has a lot of balance on all of his cards. Like looking at his end of an era card, he has 87 agility and 94 balance. So we actually have 89 agility and 90 balance. I went for the full max agility and balance upgrades. And actually, funny enough, on his flashback card, his lower rated card, he actually has more agility. I guess maybe since he's a little bit younger in that flashback. So he actually has more agility and one less balance. But so he actually goes up to 90 agility and 93 balance. So basically, he has more balance than agility on all of his cards, which is what I wanted to get. So we have 89 agility and 90 balance. And I actually went for 5-star skills. Aguero only has 4-star skills, 4-star weak foot. But I'm just a really big of 5-star skills, especially if I'm going to use a smaller guy. I really like using the 5-star skills. So that's what I went for. If you don't want the 5-star skills, definitely take it off. And if you aren't playing any, if you're not going to use the 5-star skills, I would add it to this strength right here, like I said earlier, for all those innies. But if you don't want the skill moves, I would definitely just add it to the strength like this also. And that's a good alternative if you just want the 4-star skills. But I'm going to have the 5-star skills, and a lot of y'all might want the 5-star skills as well. And then on this right side, we went to the flare trait. Let me check if Aguero actually has the flare trait. He doesn't, it looks like, on his cards, which is kind of unfortunate because I'm a big fan of the flare trait, so I put it on anyways. Again, if y'all really don't have to add it, y'all could add it to that strength if y'all want the 5-star skills without the flare trait. Y'all could do that as well. There's some alternatives for sure with this build, but I have the flare trait and the 5-star skills. Looking at the stats, we have really good stats of high balance and agility and pretty good ball control and dribbling stats of 90 and 92. So this will be it for the dribbling section now, guys, and now we can move on to passing. With the passing, since this is a center forward build, and Aguero doesn't have like crazy passing stats, and especially for his long passing stats aren't very good on all of his cards, but his short passing is pretty good. Like looking at his really high rated 94 rated card, he has a 94 short passing and 72 long pass. So for our base stats, we actually have better long pass than him. But since we just had one skill point left in this build, just one skill point to add it onto anything, I decided to just add it onto the extra long pass. You could add it onto the short pass. It's really not going to make much of a difference, but like what else could you really add it onto anyways? Like once you get to the shooting, I guess you could add it onto maybe like a volley or a header or something like that. But I just decided to bump that long passing up to 74. So that's what I went for. But the passing really wasn't too bad on this build that I noticed. I think I got some crosses off that we scored some goals off of. It just really wasn't terrible, but it's nothing crazy. You're not going to be able to make like crazy LB wide through balls to your team, and it's not going to be perfect. It's just something we have to settle with since we're trying to spread the skill points around. So this will conclude the passing section. We can move on to shooting, where we had to go for the 4-star weak foot. Like I said, he has the 4-star, 4-star, but we went for the 5-star skills, and we're going to go for the 4-star weak foot. I went for the 4-star weak foot on this left side, and that's all I went for. You just go all the way down to this weak foot, and that gets us to 93 finishing compared to his flashback card. We're going to look at his flashback card when it comes to finishing. His flashback card has 90 finishing, so we actually beat him a little bit on that. His flashback card has 84 shot power. We're not going to be able to get that much. We could get it to 81, or we did get it to 81. We could possibly get it to 82, but that's just 2 skill points, and it's not really worth it. So we could only get it to 81, which really isn't too bad, especially for pro clubs, and we're actually 5'8", so 81 shot power really isn't that bad. He actually has 79 long shots on his flashback card. Long shots aren't very good. On his other card, they're probably a lot better. So we definitely have a lot more long shots than that. Let me actually check his end of an era card to see what his long shots are. 88. So we still have better long shots than he does on his card, which is quite nice. Volleys, 86. And then on his flashback card, he has 81 volleys. So we're just automatically have better volleys, and we can't do anything about that. So really, really good shooting stats, and in a lot of the categories, it's better than his flashback stats, his shooting stats for his flashback card, compared to his really high rated card. Pretty much nothing's better because that card is really cracked, and every single stat is insane. Other than I guess penalties penalties is definitely better, and long shots, like I said. Yeah, long shots is better. So that's one thing that is better. But yeah, that card is really crazy, so it's pretty much impossible to try and imitate exactly, just because of the skill points they give us in pro clubs. But this was it for the shooting. I really liked the shooting in this build. Felt pretty nice. That shot power, the long shots, even though I really didn't get to try the long shots that much. We actually have 83 heading accuracy too. And on Aguero's cards, he actually has a really good heading accuracy. I did notice. His high rated card has 95 heading accuracy. We're not going to be able to get it that much, obviously. But I did get one really good header with this build that I was really surprised at. It was like a bullet header. I jumped up high and got like a bullet header into the corner of the net. It was really nice and quite surprising, to be honest, because this is a smaller build and it's just quite surprising when you see a smaller guy spring up and get a nice header like that. So this is it for the shooting section, guys, and now we can move on to pace. With this pace section, we had to go for a full pace upgrade since we are pretty stocky, even though we are pretty short, we're 5'8". When you bump up the weight a bit to get that strength and physical a little bit better, you lose a little bit of pace. But it's really not too bad. We have 93 acceleration and 90 sprint speed, and actually comparing that to all of his cards, it's even better. His highest rated card has only 90 pace, 91 acceleration, 90 sprint speed. So we actually have 2 more acceleration than his highest rated card. So if you wanted to be really accurate, you actually could do this and it would be exactly 91 acceleration, 90 sprint speed, and you could use the skill points to add it to something else. Heading accuracy, shot power, more finishing if you really wanted to, passing, yeah, curve. This would be decent too. Curve right here. You could add it to more dribbling. You could add it to strength. Like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff you could do if you didn't want this extra pace. But I assume a lot of y'all probably want that extra pace. So that's what we went for. And I assume a lot of y'all don't mind, even though it puts us off a little bit on the pace compared to his SBC card. It's just nice to have a little bit extra pace, especially if you're playing up in Division 1 for pro clubs. And looking at his flashback card, he has 88 pace, 93 acceleration, 84 sprint speed. So he actually gets a pretty big gap between his acceleration and sprint speed. So the pace on this build actually isn't a problem. It's very rapid, especially when coming out of doing those skill moves, those 5-star skill moves, if you're rocking those 5 stars. Because you have crazy balance and agility. Like, those stats are really good. Like, your left stick dribbling, even if you're not doing skill moves, feels really nice just because you can turn really quick and stop on a dime. But this build was extremely fun to use. And if y'all are a Sergio Aguero fan, Man City fan, Argentinian fan, or maybe a Barca fan, now that he's coming to Barca, maybe y'all like this build, just give it a try. Let me know in the comments if y'all did like it and how it went for you. And if y'all could hit that like button on this video to help me out with that YouTube algorithm, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you could hit that subscribe button on my channel, I would appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and peace out.